Thank you for you coming today on Saturday, which is a weekend, in this forum. And thank you for your interesting to come and listen to me to speak about the attacking of journalists and journalism in Palestine in the last war on Gaza, which was started 8th of July 2014, and the final ceasefire, we don't know if they will continue it or not, was at the 26th of August. Let me introduce myself to you at first. My name is Amany El Gharib. I am from Gaza. I was born there and I just grown up there. And I am an activist, a human rights and political activist. I was one of the EU, the European Parliament candidate lists with the Feminist Initiative Party. I live in Oslo, but I'm working in activism. Actually, I focus on my work on human rights, and especially women's rights, and make connections between women's rights and politics and peace studies and this stuff. But I decided to give this topic, which is the first time to speak about journalism during the war and the peace resolutions, because I got a personal experience related to this topic. I did speak in many demonstrations here in Sweden, in Malmö, in Stockholm, and I have been with the Campus TV, and I have a lot of speeches, and I was speaking about the people experiences. I spoke about that lady who left the Shijaiya area during the war. I spoke about that lady who was at the south of Gaza and she gave birth in Onorwa school, where she shared the class with many families. I spoke about a lot of these people, but it wasn't came to my, I didn't imagine that one day I will speak about my personal experience related to one of my family members, who is my uncle, or to speak about one of my best friends, who just as a mature, as a killed person. Because of that, I decided to speak today about this topic. Let us see what did happen in Gaza in this war. As you can see this photo from Gaza Strip, it's not a dull place or a dull house. This is flats, apartments to people. And as you can see, the bombing came and made this view to this civilian building. You can see here another civilian building where there's a lot of destruction. I don't think so that you can see that there was a building. It's like destroyed things. As you can see, these children, they are just crying. And these children, they were crying because they lost one of their relatives, and he was a child playing with them on Gaza, beside the Gaza beach, and then the rockets killed these children, two of their relatives. And this lady, she is at the last farewell to her son, who's a child. And this is a child, she lost all of her family. She has this doll now. This is the fire and the airstrike, bombing and the rockets. This is the sky of Gaza. This has been the sky in Gaza for 51 days during the war. What did happen during the war? Let us see the statistics. Actually, I want to remind you all and remind myself before that, the statistics, behind these statistics, a lot of personal stories, a lot of humanitarian stories. But just to let you know what and imagine what did happen, I will speak about these statistics. The war started on the 8th of July 2014, and the final ceasefire was declared on the 26th of August 2014. 51 days of brutal barbarian attack on Gaza. As you can see, I tried to choose the humanitarian photos, not the photos who speak more about this brutal attack, because I know that some people, they are not used to see these photos. As you can see here, 2,120 murders, killed people in Gaza, and 10,700 injured. This lady, she's swimming in the blood here of her family. And this guy, he lost all of his family. as you can see. And he's at the last farewell to them. And to let you know, there were 90 families. They were eliminated totally from the registration documents because they were bombed totally. Like El Haj family, Ghanam family, Hamad family, all of these families, there no remained person from this family. The whole family, the parents, the sons, the kids, the grandchildren, all of them. The children, I told you here that we have 2,120 killed people in Gaza and 10,700 injured. Let us see what does this what do this number include? 567 of killed children, as you can see, and 3,193 they were injured. I put a lot of photos in this presentation to let you imagine the situation. While these photos, they are not just like give a clear image about the situation, but they can help you in the imagination. 297 killed women and 2,073 injured, and this is the man. He's the father of these 5 kids, while his wife, she was killed and they are in the hospital, and he doesn't know what to tell them, and he was crying, and they are crying because he's crying and they don't know anything about their mother. 100 from the elderly people also, they were killed. These photos from Östergötland area, when Israel occupation soldiers, they entered on feet Östergötland and they start to kill the people. And a lot of people, thousands of people, they were displaced. They just like moved from their houses with their clothes, as you can see, just like what you do wear on your body. And 396 of the injured people, they were elderly people. 17 journalists, they were killed, and we will focus on them after this introduction. 21 killed from the medical staff, because Israel bombed a lot of hospitals and destroyed, for example, Al-Wafa hospital totally, and destroyed partially a lot of hospitals in Gaza Strip, and a lot of ambulances, they were bombed also. So 21 of the people who were just like went to save the other people's lives, they were killed. And 39 of them, they were injured. About the municipal workers, because Israel also did bomb the stations, electricity stations and electricity lines and the water stations also, and it was just like, it was supposed that a lot of people from the municipalities go on work, so 3 of them, they were killed. This message: we will destroy your house in 10 minutes, leave it now. Israel Defense Forces. The IDF, they call themselves. This message, it's very popular in Gaza. Almost all of the people, all of the population, they got this message. All of my friends, they just like take image to their mobiles and they post to Facebook to show. They are not just terrorists, they are not soldiers, they are civilian. A lot of families, they don't have this 10 minutes. Because this message comes like 7 minutes later, you know, or arrives 7 minutes later. So a lot of families, they don't have the time to leave. They don't have the total 10 minutes, so they were killed. And a lot of the families, when they have, it's like they send it to one mobile at the family. And El Haj family, Israel sent this message to their son, and their son was away, was outside. So all of his family, they were killed while they don't know why. So this message comes to the people, and if they have time, they will just like leave the home. And this resulted in 475,000 of displaced people. They don't have houses now. Some of them, they left partially and they return, and they find just like a rest of their house. It's not totally a house and partially destroyed. And some of them, they left forever their houses, because when they came back, they didn't find anything. And this photo is also from Östergötland, and I think all of you know about the Östergötland massacres. They were more than massacre. And a lot of the stories, they came from Shujaiya massacre for the people who were displaced. I heard the lady, she said we were 50 when we left the area, the small area, the relative area, some houses of their family because they have extended family. And she said that we arrived to a Shifa hospital, which is in the center of Gaza, 12. And we didn't want to look just like on behind to see who did die or who did get injured or anyone just he fell down. We don't have the time to just take him because we were be killed. So can you imagine 50 people from the extended family, they left their houses and they arrived at 12. And this is the photo, can tell you more. This is also from Shujaiya, and this is the women's. And by the way, the journalists, many of them who did take these photos, they were killed. So it's like what we see now is nothing comparing to the facts, to what did happen. And this happened to the houses there, as you can see. And these people, the displaced people, because a lot of them, they have the whole extended family in the same area, so they don't have anybody to go. So they go to the UNRWA schools to just like have shelters there. And the UNRWA schools, they were bombed by Israel as well. 6 schools, UNRWA and private schools, they were just bombed by Israel. So you don't have any place. You go to nowhere in Gaza to save yourself. And this is inside, as you can see, all of these different families in the same classroom. As you can see here, the chairs of the students of the school. And just like as you can see, some people just, any families, they take a little bit space and they sit down. And can you imagine that a lot of ladies, they give birth inside of these classes? Can you imagine that? What is journalism? Journalism is the practice of investigating and reporting events, issues, and trends to the mass audience of a print broadcast and online media and the newspapers, magazines, books, radios, TV stations, blogs, social and mobile media. This is the definition from Google to the journalism. Let me tell you the definition of journalism in Gaza Strip during especially this war. I call them the passive heroes because all of these photos you saw, they are just like were on behind of the camera to record these photos, and a lot of them they were killed and they were injured. And these passive heroes, I will not just speak now about some of people I know. I went to the Facebook of my friends and the friends of the friends, and I start to steal their photos in the fields. And these are just a sample of the journalists who are working in Gaza. They are not the journalists who are working in Gaza. So I will show you these journalists, what they are doing, or the photos that I took from Facebook from my friends. His name is Shadi Assar. He's working here, and this is my friend. And many times he posts to Facebook, now we don't have electricity in the office or in my house. I went to Shifa hospital because there is a lot of generation to electricity. And now I'm posting, I'm writing the articles from there. Wish me safe trip back home, which is like few minutes to home. He just like asked all of us to wish him a safe trip to not be bombed or killed. She is Asma Al-Ghul. She is a very famous journalist in Gaza Strip. Always she's there in the field and with her staff. And by the way, Asma, she lost her uncle, and they bombed the whole family. Her uncle, his sons, his daughters, their grandchildren, and their family, they were not even Hamas. They are just only civilian. And she wrote when she knew that, she was always in the field from the south, the west, the east, and the north. And me, myself, I called her many times, please take care, we want you. You are the eye of the truth and of the fact. Please take care. And she wrote when they killed her uncle that, my uncle is so poor, and his house is very, very humble and poor. Israel doesn't need to send F-16 rockets to kill him. They are very expensive. She can just send small explosive to just like kill him and his family. Why you do that? What did he do to you? She's Asma. And here, Tamer al-Mishal from Al Jazeera and Salah Abdul Ati and all of this stuff, they were always in the field. I don't think so that you saw these photos. Because of that, I want to show you some of these photos. He's a lawyer and activist, and they are always recording and helping the people and take the people to the schools or the hospitals. He's one of my best friends, and he passed away. He was killed during the bombing. His name is Ali Abu Afish. I will speak about him later. He was always in the field. And this, can you imagine that you are taking this photo in front of this? His name is Zanoun. And now the journalists of Gaza Strip, they are going to teach the journalists in all over the world that they don't have only the mission to just speak and report and just make investigations. They are also human rights activists. You can see this, and this is Aziz and his friend Ali Hassan Jadallah and Ali Zanoun. Look, he's doing what he's doing. I picked all of his photos. He's in a very, very, very hard situation recording, and at the end of the day, he's going to the Umurwa schools to play with the children. Because these children, they are traumatized, and they need somebody to give them mental support. Can you imagine that the journalism like this? He is Ala Shamali. He's working at the South. And he's a radio reporter, and he's speaking about what is going on. Once they just like listen any bombing or any just like airstrike or any tank just bombing or any rockets, they are going. Because they want to let the people in the world know what's going on. And because they want to aware the citizens, just like they always giving like alarm and awareness. Hello people, don't go to this area, now there's airstrike, and they save a lot of lives in this way. And this is Hazem Madi also, and he just like in Rafah, and they lost a lot of the family member and the friends. This is a journalist, can you imagine? His name is Saeed Al-Tawil, and he is a volunteer in a campaign to gather food to the people in the Umurwa schools, as you can see. Journalism in Palestine. We are teaching the people in this world what is journalism. And he is here with his staff, and they don't care if they will be killed, but they want to give a humanitarian support to the people. Not only our male journalists, we have here Shireen Khalifa. She's in the field to make her report about what's going on now in Gaza. And we have here Rowan Tatar and her friends, and they are just like standing proud of themselves and of their job. We don't care. We want to give the message to this world. This is Fred Ekeblad. I think that the majority of them know him. Fred Ekeblad, he is a very personal friend to me, and he's my brother. I call him a brother, and he called me sister. He was my election coordinator. After we finished the election, he went to Gaza, and then the war started. And he started to be a reporter in the field. I got a lot of photos to him while he's just like spreading the food and the water in the hot zones to the people, and he's reporting. And he just like, it was supposed that he arrived to Sweden last night. She's an activist, and she's a journalist in the electrical media, and her name is Amany. And all the journalists, I repeat, that they don't just only write reports and investigations, they go to the field and they start to help the people, and they start to highlight on these stories, and if they can have time or power or energy to spread food, to make medical support, anything like that. And she's here reporting about what does happen to these ladies. This is Shuaib Abu Jahal in front of ambulance, and of course airstrike or rocket just arrived this area few minutes before, and they don't care. They just go to help the people, to give the message. And this is Ayman Hamdi, and a lot of these journalists. Let us see what did Israel decide to do to these. This report from the YouTube, let us see what did happen in Gaza from this report.
scared a lot and where I was afraid. And I did not know if I will survive this day or this night.
It's not civilian building, this is the media offices in Gaza.
في شمال الآن معنا لقاء من عمر جميل حمودة في جامعة بيتان. عمر اخذ التفاصيل عندك. الغارة الشديدة.
الغارة الشديدة الناس رحلوا من بيوتها هي احنا قلنا.
نعم شكرا.
As you did see, the building and the places who were filmed in that video, they were only the offices of the media and the press. And the people, they were killed, the journalists, they were 16, but because this report came at the 25th of August, and the ceasefire was at the 26th of August, so it was like another, the last journalist, he was dead at the last day before the ceasefire. And let us see these 17 passive heroes who were killed in Gaza. The first one, at the first row, here, he's my uncle. And this one, he's one of my best friends. I will speak about some of these journalists and just forgive me and let me the opportunity to speak about my personal experience with these two journalists. I will not take a lot of time from you. The first journalist who were killed, her name is Najla El-Haj. She's a journalist and a blogger on the social media, and she was